My dear, I didn't mean to shame you. Your clothes revealed truths I wasn't ready to face in myself. I judged your body because I couldn't love my own reflection in your freedom. It wasn't your dress, it was my discomfort with how stunningly unafraid you are. I called it too much, when really it was just more than I could handle. You looked powerful, and I panicked because I've never owned that kind of light. I mistook your confidence for arrogance because I couldn't carry what you wear with grace. I used your outfit as a shield to hide my unspoken fears of losing you. Forgive me, I attacked your looks because I feared your beauty might outgrow me. I critiqued your body, but it was my shame trying to speak through cruelty. I couldn't see past your clothes because I was scared of your raw truth. You wore freedom, I wore fear, and I called it concern. You look like a goddess. I made you feel like a warning. I dressed you in guilt because I didn't know how to honor your fire. I tried to cover you with silence because your light was louder than my pride. It was never about your dress. It was about my discomfort with your divine boldness. You looked like everything I couldn't control, and I hated that. You wore gold, and I mistook it for arrogance. I was wrong. I said you looked cheap when I really meant unreachable. You wore fire, and I came with water, thinking I was helping. I didn't want others to see what I still struggle to accept. You are rare. I accused your clothes, but I was jealous of how you wear truth so easily. You looked wild and radiant. I saw loss in every curve you celebrated. You look like freedom. I sounded like a cage. You looked too alive. I needed you smaller to feel secure. Forgive me, I spoke from fear, not from love. I called you too much when you were just more than I could handle. Your dress said, I'm mine, and I panicked. I tried to edit your glow so I could keep up. You looked stunning. I just wasn't brave enough to celebrate it out loud. You dressed like you belonged to the stars. I dressed my fear in judgment. You look like light, blinding, holy, too sacred for my shame to understand. Your skin glowed. I dimmed it with words. I made you feel exposed when you were just finally free. I didn't want them to see you because I knew they'd fall too. I hurt you because your beauty terrified me. I insulted your outfit, but it was your confidence that shook me. You look like a sunrise. I closed the curtains. You wore something divine. I tried to rename it for my comfort. You look like a woman in bloom. I tried to pluck the petals. I wanted to protect you, but all I did was punish you. I saw how they looked at you, and I couldn't handle it. I said you looked off, Truth is, you looked out of my league. Your beauty isn't the problem, my insecurity is. I made you question yourself to keep my fragile ego safe. I wasn't ready to stand beside someone that radiant. You wore truth, I wore control. You looked powerful, I felt powerless. I made you cover up, but it was my fear I was hiding. I thought your confidence made me small, but I made myself small. I didn't know how to love someone so wildly unapologetic. You look like a storm. I tried to silence thunder. I wasn't body shaming you, I was soul shaming myself. I couldn't love you freely until I forgave myself. You didn't need to change, I needed to heal. I dressed your courage in my shame and called it love. You looked like art, I called it too revealing. You wore truth, I wore pride. You looked magical, I feared the spell. You radiated self-love, I mistook it for danger. I should have celebrated your glow. Instead, I shadowed it. You looked untouchable. I tried to claim you through criticism. You dressed how I wish I could feel. I wanted you humble because I was scared of how high you could fly. I saw your light and hated my darkness. You looked like love. I responded with fear. I wasn't judging you, I was exposing me. I made you feel small to feel safe. You showed skin, I showed immaturity. Your radiance forced me to meet my reflection. You weren't too much, I was just not enough that day. I ruined your peace to protect my pride. You wore grace, I threw stones. You dressed like the truth, I wasn't ready. I told you to cover up, but it was me that needed healing. You didn't dress wrong, I reacted wrong. I mistook your softness for threat. I told you to change when I was the one rotting inside. I couldn't love you until I stopped fearing your power. You looked like someone I didn't deserve, so I tried to shrink you. If this touched your soul, don't scroll. Like, comment your favorite quote, and subscribe for more. Your outfit wasn't the threat. My silence was. I wanted you quieter, smaller, safer, so I could feel bigger. You were shining. I couldn't handle the spotlight shifting. You wore what I wasn't brave enough to feel.